Welcome back to Progressively Speaking. We have with us a fantastic guest. Her name is Kelly Jenkins. Oops, she was recently married, so now it's Kelly Schutzberg. Kelly is joining us today from a variety of roles. She is a public speaker, middle school educator, and fierce advocate for transgender youth. For the last 20 years, she's navigated the public educational systems in both Tennessee and Massachusetts as a transgender woman. She is a contributor in the cutting-edge book Trans Studies in K-12 Education, creating an agenda for research and practice. Kelly shares her experiences as an open, authentic transgender educator working with middle schoolers and staff. She was actively involved in the Yes on 3 campaign back in 2018 and is the host and producer of her own award-winning TV program, Kelly's Quest, the Transnational Journey. She has been an active member of Acton TV, and we're going to share a brief clip of an episode she did a few years back about her journey.
So you want to start expressing who you are. And I remember to this day the first time I ever expressed who I was in public.
Oh, this is my favorite story. I'm so glad you're going to share this.
So growing up in the 70s, Jackie Onassis was my hero.
Yes.
The lady had it put together. Smart, intelligent, understood things, dressed very nicely, she was a bit of a hero of mine, I'll be honest with you. My grandmother painted a picture of her that I wish that I had to this day, and that's kind of how I made this all connection with her. Well, one day when I finally decided to work up the courage, I had just gotten in my car. I bet you I was 16 and 3 weeks old past it. I mean, it was just 16 years, 3 weeks, and I had to go out and show the world who I was. Couldn't hide it anymore. Had to let them know, here I am, Kelly Jenkins. So I dressed up and I went to the mall. The problem was, in my desire to replicate Jackie Onassis, I did not realize.
You forgot what decade it was?
I forgot what decade it was. I forgot that I was going to a mall and that I don't think Jackie Onassis, no matter what decade it was, would have dressed the way that I did. I wore a pink two-piece skirt suit top. The skirt was like a pink crinoline mesh thing that was kind of tight. Some white stockings, some pink high-heeled shoes, the pink jacket with the big, beautiful, it was beautiful gold buttons, just, because
I forgot
you
about
can't
the
just,
buttons.
yeah, you can't just have pink, you've got to have gold with it in this Jackie Onassis age that I lived in. So all the pink buttons, all the gold buttons going down it was not enough. Jackie Onassis wore a pillbox hat.
Yes, she did.
Right on my head it went. I hopped in my little car, tootled my way over to the mall.
You're feeling yourself.
I was feeling like, I'm looking good. This is it. This is my introduction. Hello, world. It's Kelly Jenkins. And I walk out and I step into the mall and I look around and it's like, oops. I think I might have, A, dressed in the wrong decade. B, maybe have dressed over the top a little bit for a mall, because I walked into a mall where nobody had a dress on. Some of them only had, I was way over the top of it.
Also, where was this mall?
Oh, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay.
Tiny, tiny, tiny Knoxville, Tennessee back in the 70s.
Yeah.
It would have been the 80s then, so I'll give it another decade of credit.
Uh-huh.
So I just go walk in the mall and I'm like, oops. But the beautiful part of it is, I didn't just turn around and run to my car. I at least had the courage to make one loop around the store before I went back into my car. And I don't think I ever put that outfit on ever again, because I discovered I never had a purpose to, because that was a definite occasion dress.
Do you still have it?
I wished I did.
God, I wish you did.
Oh my! I wish I had a picture.
I was
going to
say, do you have a picture at least?
No, I think what happened, and this will actually translate to a lot of other people, transgender people have a tendency to purge. I have gotten rid of thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of clothing out of shame. Buy them, and probably a good thing I got rid of that one. But
maybe for fashion,
for fashion
sensibility.
Yes, but I got rid of all of my female clothing at least 5 times in my life, just an entire wardrobe and just threw it away. I'm never going to do it again.
And with that, Kelly, thank you so much for being here. The journey of our friendship has recently begun, and I can't wait for everything that's to come. But thank you for your time, for being here, and for this clip that was just shown. I'm curious to know how the journey from Tennessee to Massachusetts was for you, and why you chose to come here. And yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you, Teresa and Meredith, for having me here on Progressively Speaking. It's an honor, actually. I mean, anytime I get to share my story with people, especially people that want to hear it, it brings joy to me. And right now in life, I'm really looking for joy. And part of the reason that I made it from Tennessee to Massachusetts was a journey of joy. That's how I like to look at it.
Okay.
I started off in Tennessee as an educator, and I've worked with every kind of kid you can imagine. I've worked with children that are middle schoolers. I've worked with rich kids, poor kids, kids that are special needs, kids that are just, you name a type of child, I've worked with that type of child, but I'd never gotten to work with a trans child.
Okay.
And being a trans educator, I always wanted to explore that. So I went online down in Tennessee and typed in camps for transgender youth. Basic Google search.
Yeah.
And I learned about this camp in New Hampshire called Harbor Camps. Back then it was called Camp Aeronautic.
Okay.
And Harbor Camps is a week-long sleepover camp for trans youth.
Okay.
So I got in my car, drove all the way up to New Hampshire, and volunteered at this camp for 1 week.
Wow.
And
It's amazing.
the amazing part about it is those kids. You don't know the fortitude, the joy, the compassion, the just everything, creativity of these children. And I was in awe of them. There were children there, Meredith, that were standing up to their principals. There were parents that had brought their children there that were supporting their children 100%. And Teresa, when I finished that camp and I was driving back home to Tennessee, I'm like, Tennessee is not home.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't home. I could sense in the wind that things were going in a different direction than in Tennessee than were happening in Massachusetts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I drove the 950,000 miles home to Tennessee, and before I got home, I had decided I'm moving to New England.
Okay.
This was in 2014.
All right.
So the camp has the counselors have a Facebook page that we would all get on. And I just put the post out there, hey, I've seen the light. There is no way that I can stay in Tennessee anymore. And I made this general statement. What is a good school system to teach in Massachusetts, and where's a good place to live? Like, it was that basic.
Okay.
One of the counselors that I'd worked 1 week with, like she was in a cabin next to mine, and 1 week I knew this counselor, and she got back to me, and she said, come live with me.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Knew me for 1 week and said, come stay with us. I'm like, but I've got 2 dogs and a cat. Come stay with us.
That's amazing.
So somebody that I knew for 1 week and her partner, who I had never met, said, come stay with me. So I moved up here into their home in Marlboro, not knowing a soul up here other than those 2 people. And everybody kept asking me, how in the heck are you going to survive up there? You don't know anybody. Well, I had this little secret in my back pocket.
Okay.
I play the sport of disc golf. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's like Frisbee golf is what some people call it. But I play disc golf, and I'm like, no problem. I'll go to the local disc golf course, and I will make friends.
Yep.
Sports, the great equalizer.
That's exactly what happened. And it just so happened that one of the people that played disc golf at that time is now the executive director of Acton TV.
Oh my goodness.
So
you never know who you're going to meet.
You never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah.
So I went to the course, started meeting him, started meeting all of these people, started creating community. And Mark said, you need to come on and tell your story. And I'm like, there is no way I'm going to tell my story. In Tennessee, I was living stealth as an educator. I didn't tell anybody I was a trans woman.
Right.
I let them just think whatever they wanted to think, and I just moved on with life. I'm like, nobody wants to hear my story. He said, come on, do it. And for a year, he bugged me. And then he hired Pat Snow.
Okay.
Or Pat was already working there, and he said, Pat has put out this movie. You need to see it. And then after you see this movie, tell us no.
Okay.
So
And what was the movie?
The movie was about this elderly, that's a horrible word, this trans woman who had decided later in life that maybe she should have affirmed her authentic self at a younger age.
Wow.
And it was a story of her internal mechanism, walking through it, all of these conversations she was having with people throughout her life. And it was so moving and so powerful. I'm like, if a cisgender man, cisgender is somebody that when they were born and the doctor held them up and said, oh, you've got this genitalia, and as you grow older, you're like, yeah, I agree, that genitalia matches who I am as a human being. And I said, if somebody that's not trans can tell our story that well, I owe it to them to do the show. It's a fantastic little short movie.
It doesn't surprise me that I've never heard about this movie from Pat.
He might be a little bit, he's a very talented human being, but he doesn't like to boast, I agree.
Often people behind the camera are not as much, like to but we like to elevate people.
Right.
That, like, chills and started to tear up during that, because what a leap of, just you knew and you followed your gut.
So many leaps
You followed
of
your
faith.
heart
Yeah.
because you wanted to fully be your authentic self in an area that would welcome you. But that's not an easy decision, because you left everything you had known. But what a somebody you've known for a week, but in that camp, like, what a beautiful camp.
Oh, it's life-changing.
For kids to be able to be themselves, and for you to jump in and be part of that, and then these, for somebody, come live with us.
Yep.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, it is no problem. And I've got lifelong friends from that camp.
Yeah.
The woman that, in the story, the lady that volunteered at the camp with me, her partner, I'm going to have a wedding. We got married in November. We're having a wedding in June. The other lady is going to officiate our ceremony.
Oh my goodness.
I love it.
I mean,
I love it.
That's how this whole thing,
Love it.
you
Yeah.
never know. You never know.
Don't.
But one thing I've learned is, as my authentic self, you surround yourself. Authentic people want to be around authentic people.
Yeah.
And kind people want to be around kind people.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm learning through all of this in my journey, is just kindness is so important, and joy is so important, and hope.
They all go together, all of those words, because they lead to, like, each other.
Yeah, when you lift up the people you're surrounded by, they in turn lift you up, and you lift up the community that you're in. And I really think that's how change is created, and that's how we create the world that we want to live in, is by lifting up the people that are doing the work that we value and that we want to see more of. So thank you for being here, for sharing your story, and empowering and inspiring others to share their story and to be their authentic selves.
That's the dream of the show. Kelly's Quest is I interview the parents of trans youth, doctors that help us, religious leaders that help us, politicians that help us. So I'm trying my best to show our story the way our community wants our story to be shared.
Right. Yeah, that's super important today. I mean, it feels like, I'm not sure when, so you moved to Massachusetts sometime around 2014?
August
right?
of 2014.
And the vibe around LGBTQ progress was so, I don't know, to me it feels different than it does today. Because we chose to move to Massachusetts in 2016. And, that was on the tail of, of gay marriage being legalized and all of these courthouse weddings, and it felt like a fun, wonderful place to be, and like everyone whose authentic self was valued right? And then we elected a lesbian governor for the first time, like in history. And it's hard to hold on to those good moments in spite of everything awful happening in other places around the U.S. right now.
It's scary. It's scary for a lot of people, and I think that in my situation, I remember I reached out to a lady to do an episode. Her name is Dr. Marissa Richmond. She just retired. She's an openly trans woman in East Tennessee, a black trans woman.
Okay.
Back when I was call myself a trans baby, she was going to the Capitol and beating on doors saying, you need to respect us. You need to understand that we're here and we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And she was my role model as far as how to navigate being trans. Yes,
Yeah.
Jackie Onassis was my role model, but
Absolutely.
I mean, come on.
But you need spiritual role models, right? As well as physical role models.
Yep.
Yeah.
But she laid the groundwork, and she is still sitting there. And she reminded me the other day, remember where we were at in the mid-90s and in 2000.
Yep.
Even though the people that are affirming their authentic selves, they're moving forward, they're in a time when they don't remember what it was like
Yeah.
way back
Right.
then. When I was growing up in East Tennessee, I would drive around in my car and I would see giant billboards that would say, God hates fags.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the mother of a transgender child who's adult now, and I think I'm fortunate that my child doesn't know a history of didn't live in that part. We also moved from Tennessee. We're not from Tennessee originally, but my kid often says, I cannot even imagine if we still lived there. Thank you for us not. We've been here, almost 15 years, and it was the best choice we made as well. But just it's important that we remember where we've come and to help us keep going. But yeah, it's hard to stay positive. But with things like this and the work that you do, just being you and living yourself and being married and finding your partner in life is just, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
And it inspires me to keep going. And you just never know who you're going to touch. Those
You
kids
never know.
the kids in that 1 week in camp, you never know what you've done for those people, for those kids.
I want to name drop just a little bit.
Please.
One of those kids was Jazz Jennings.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Just a little name drop.
Yeah.
Just Jazz.
Just Jazz.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the camp helped that kid
Absolutely.
become who they are.
Yeah.
But Marissa did a fantastic job of reminding me that she's my role model, but she had role models before her.
Absolutely.
And they had role models before them.
Absolutely.
We've been here.
Yeah.
We've been here. We will continue to be
Yeah.
here. There is no such thing as erasing trans people because as long as we're giving birth to human beings,
Yeah.
some of them are going to be trans.
Absolutely.
That's just the reality of it.
Never to mention that being trans is a beautiful thing, and there's zero things wrong with it. And
I agree.
We're just going to keep going that, and leaning into love and joy and hope.
Yep.
I'm always inspired by someone living their authentic selves in opposition to the climate that they were born in or in the climate that they find themselves. It is hard, even as a cis straight person, to be your authentic self when you were raised to be someone else.
Yeah.
And when you layer on all those other identities and ways of being oppressed, it's amazing and brave, and I appreciate you and everyone who is living their best selves or living as their best selves.
I really do appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Any final words?
I was just going to thank you again, and I look forward to more talks, maybe about disc golf.
I would love to take you all out on the disc golf course and
Yeah.
teach you. There's one here in Billerica. There's a 9-hole
There-
disc golf course here in Billerica,
There
you
is,
all.
Yeah.
at the Vietnam Veterans Park. It's a
I
beautiful
see it
course.
when I'm hiking by.
but I don't
and-
know a thing about it, so I
Oh.
think maybe you can teach us a thing or two.
I'm happy to do it.
Excellent.
I'm happy to do
Wonderful.
All right.
We'll have you back on for that.
All right,
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
it. No, thank you.
We'll be back soon.